I've talked a lot on this channel about what music means. You have no choice but to just confront the raw emotion.
It's kind of really expressive with what it brings out. That darker, more satanic kind of sound. A strong rhythm usually signifies kind of stability.
And when I'm breaking a song down, what certain chords do or how they feel. And that is the thing that I think is the best about music, is the fact that music can have such an impact without really saying anything. But something magical happens when you bring the two together and you get a very clear story supported by music, and that happens all the time in films. And one of the best examples of music perfectly written for a film is the theme from Up. Because there's a few things that happen in the music that manipulate the audience so well into feeling a certain emotion. And I say the word manipulate because that's kind of what music does in a film. It tells you how to feel. So if you haven't seen the film Up, it's a Pixar film and it's essentially about an older couple who have spent all of their lives together and they have always wanted to move their house to this cliff overlooking Paradise Falls. However, the wife dies and Carl, who is the older gentleman, decides to tie a load of balloons to his house and fly his house to this cliff. While he's doing that, he realizes that there is a kid and a dog stowed away, and obviously there is a journey that happens about learning things and learning about relationships.
Squirrel!
However, the Up theme Married Life first appears when we are shown a montage of Carl and his wife's life together. And at the end of that montage, we find out that Carl's wife has died. And all of this is supported by this theme, which is called the Married Life theme tune. And it goes something like this. So there is a couple of things with this part of the theme which are super important. Firstly, it's in F major, which gives it a really bright sound, but the accompaniment part for this theme is essentially a waltz. And a waltz is a partner dance, which means when you hear a waltz, it gives you the feeling of two people happy enjoying themselves together. Now, another interesting thing about this melody is that the melody actually lands on the 7th of a major 7th chord at the start, like this. This note here. Now, the reason that that's interesting is because the 7th is a tonally kind of unstable note. It feels very weak, and the fact that the melody lands on it, it kind of gives you that sighing feeling. You also get a single line melody. It can sound really thin textured, and often in films you want things to feel bigger. However, in this case, the composer is obviously wanting to make it feel kind of isolated and like they are the only two people in the world. And even with just that simplicity, with 4 chords doing a waltz and a single line melody, you already get the picture painted of exactly what this film is all about. But the key to this is that because it's so simple, it's such a simple melody and it's such a simple chord structure, you can do a lot with it to really amplify what's going on. And this becomes really important towards the end of the montage when Carl's wife dies, because it's super important that this is not a completely separate thing. You want to feel what he is feeling, and what he is feeling is that all the memories that he's had with his wife are now gone. And the way that this is amplified and done with music is it's the same theme, but it's a lot more slow and it's a lot more expressive. It's slightly quieter, and also now that isolated melody no longer feels like two people in their own world, but it now feels like one person in their own world that's really suffering with the loss of his wife. And this part of the theme goes something like this. Now, throughout that entire theme, Carl's wife, I should probably give her a name, which is Ellie. Ellie is in a hospital bed, and then Carl is shown at Ellie's funeral. And an interesting change to this section of the theme is that these chords stay still, rather than moving like they did before. And having one note like that repeats over and over again with these chords almost imitates the sound of like a heart monitor. There are lots of themes that are very, very well written, but for me, I think the married life theme in Up is one of the best, just because it's very hard to amplify such tense emotions and something that everyone relates to, like losing someone that you care about. And there are loads of examples like this in music, like Elegy by Foray or any other elegy, and it's something that film music is great at. If there are any movie themes that you think are particularly great, let me know in the comments. And if you are interested as to why the Stranger Things theme is so great, then head on through and I will see you there.